successful in a project really comes down to the first phases of planning. You need to equip yourself with key pieces of information before you even start a project. Otherwise, you'll be taking shots in the dark and you risk delivering something that your client doesn't really want.
To avoid this, many creative studios and freelancers put together a document that's known as the creative brief. A creative brief is a series of questions that are targeted to help formulate a project's concept, strategy and means of direction, and execution.
Depending on the type of project it is, there are thousands of questions you could be asking your client or art director. But all of these questions come down to one goal: to help you complete the project successfully and to make your clients happy.
The goal in these questions asked are to generate strategy, to assist in planning, to aid in design, and to structure communication. Throughout the development and review process, you should always refer back to the creative brief to make sure that everyone is staying on track. This document also avoids things like scope creep, new requests, and endless changes. So let's put together a creative brief template, one that you can use time and time again when you start working with your clients or managers. So here are some of the common questions you need to ask you to help you in planning for your project. You need information about the project background. What are the overall goals of your project? What are the key messages that you need to show in your work? Who are the audiences? Where is this going to live? And also, when is the deadline? Next, you need to ask questions to help you create your project. You need to understand the creative direction. You can ask if there's any key resources or references you should be looking at. And it's also useful to get an idea of what they like and also maybe what they don't like. And lastly, you need to ask some questions to help you in communicating with your clients or managers. What's your milestone schedule? When are things due? Who is your point person for the project? In other words, who should you be reporting to? Who needs to provide you feedback? Who's your art director? Are these people going to be different from your point person? How should you deliver review materials? Do you send them a PDF or a working file? How should meetings take place? Are they on Zoom, Google, Teams? There's so many. And lastly, how are final files going to be delivered?
So I think that's a good set of questions to help you get started. Now sometimes you might ask more questions to help you get the information that you need, and sometimes you can probably figure out these answers for yourself. But it's always useful to get your client's input and sign off on this creative brief before you start any work. And let's move on to planning and organizing your project so you can get started.